more hits we play, the more hits we get. URLradio.net. Stacey Sturm.
Nikki Johnson.
All right. Let's talk about breaking up in this day and age of social media.
Okay.
This started off as like a blog post.
Okay.
And a girl was very angry. And she put on her blog about whatever happened to manners. Do people even date in the social age now? Because she'd had an instance where she had gone out with a guy several times. Mm-hmm. Thought they had a relationship going, and then all of a sudden he just stopped calling. So she texted him and said, "What's going on?" Never heard back. All of a sudden she saw on his Facebook bashing her about how it's too bad things don't work out. When's he ever going to find love? Blah, blah, blah. He'd never contacted her. So he'd basically lived a public relationship.
Right.
But not a private relationship. So she was confused. She said, "I just saw on Facebook, when are you ever going to find love? What happened?" Still, to this day, even after this blog post, his went viral and a lot of people have read it. Still to this day, the guy has never talked to her in person or returned any of her texts about what happened.
That's bizarre. So did they meet online or?
No, they actually met at a restaurant bar.
Okay.
And she thought things were going well.
And then he just randomly stopped texting her and calling her.
And then the only way she found out is she saw on his Facebook page one day that he had posted, really sad, when am I ever going to find love?
Obviously this man has mental issues, But
apparently, according to this blog, people came pouring in similar stories.
What?
Yeah. About all of a sudden, either they got one post, like a Facebook message that said, "It's not going to work out, sorry, done." That's it, or they just never heard anything at all.
That's crazy.
They untake their photos.
I wasn't raised like that at all. No. It's like if something isn't working or if you need to address something, you man up. Mm-hmm. You go and talk to that person face to face, and it might be uncomfortable, but you just go do it.
Right.
Because it shows respect for that other person. If you're genuinely in a relationship with that person, you owe them enough respect to go and talk to them face to face and be like, "Hey, this is uncomfortable for me," or "I'm not liking this situation," or "It's not working out for me, sorry, whatever," what I mean? That I think I'm done.
Right.
But I think Facebook and Twitter and whatever else kind of social media, those are just cop-outs sometimes when it comes to relationships.
Well, and then that also brings up a question of sort of like etiquette. Like, when do you post on your Facebook you're in a relationship with somebody? Do you have that talk with them first?
I think so. Because before I had added any kind of relationship status with my fiance or whatever, I was like, it's going to be kind of a big deal on Facebook if
because people are going to comment on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we didn't even put in that we were in a relationship at all when we started dating.
You don't want that feedback necessarily.
No. Because sometimes you do want to hold those things sacred. You do want to have your own privacy.
And do you really want the feedback from outside sources sometimes when you're starting a relationship?
Right.
And how bad would it look if you put on your face, and here's somebody else that posted.
Okay.
They made the mistake of putting on their Facebook that they were in a relationship. And all the many, many posts came in, "Oh, so happy you're finally meeting somebody." They made her sound like such a loser.
Yeah.
That the guy she was dating actually stopped dating her.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So that's one of the pitfalls.
It's crazy. People are so
status.
judgmental and just so quick to judge about anything. And
it's ridiculous.
I think that there's a lack of connection sometimes with the social media because you can't feel that emotion. You can't see what that person is going through.
I know. They said another question that has popped up recently too then is, if you do talk with your person you're dating, and you talk about changing your status on your Facebook page, you change it, and then he or she doesn't. What does that mean?
That happened to me one time.
Really?
I was so like, oh gosh, this guy is awesome. So I changed it or whatever, and he was the type of person who worked, in the news and in the media, and so he didn't. And it's like, I know he saw it. He's on his Facebook all the time. So why didn't he change it?
Because I know this person because he actually Facebooked me when he was doing the news one day.
Yeah.
What a question.
Yeah, and it's like
he was on the air.
So yeah, right. And I'm like, why didn't he change it? I thought we were together. And it's like, is he ashamed of me? Is he embarrassed of me? What am I doing wrong? You know? And so that made me start feeling less comfortable with that relationship, and
it creates
insecure. Absolutely. And so then I was just like, well, if he doesn't want to be with me, if he can't even put it on Facebook, then what am I doing? Wasting my time, you know? But that was when I first started doing Facebook, and I mean, it was just a few years ago, but now it's like I have a totally different view about the kind of things that I put on Facebook versus what I was doing when I first started using Facebook, because you can see the changes over time.
And then also, too, they said you get into rules of etiquette as far as if you're out on a date with your person, or if this is actually, I think this applies to a party or any function you go to. If you take pictures, you need to ask the people if it's okay before you post them on your Facebook. Because some people might not have supposed to have been there.
Right.
Or they don't want people knowing they were there.
Yeah.
'Cause maybe they were invited to another party.
Yeah.
And even if you don't tag them, if somebody sees it on there and you're not supposed to be there with that person, or that person wasn't even supposed to be there at that place, it can create a huge problem.
Huge drama.
And not just with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, significant other, whatever it might be, just anybody that's there in that area with you.
Yeah, well, you can tag them like where you're located at.
Yeah.
And some people are uncomfortable with that. It's like, why do I want people to know where I'm at right now?
They don't know if people have stalkers.
Stalkers or whatever. Right. I mean, that's creepy that you can tag someone at the location that they're at.
I know.
And I mean, it's kind of cool in a way to be like, oh, looks like they're having fun, you know?
Right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of like strange people out there that are not well, that like to hurt people.
I have a scrambler on my phone so that it can't pick up the location of my pictures. And sometimes if I message people, it might say I'm in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Even though I'm not.
Random.
Yeah, it'll just do that. And so I do that on purpose.
That's cool. I wonder if I can do that.
It's just an app you can download.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are you doing in New York?
But then herein lies the problem. Then it's like nobody ever really. So if anybody needs to find me, they have no idea where the hell I'm at.
That's awesome.
Oh. But there you go. And I guess this all came about, too, is Khloe Kardashian, Khloe and Lamar have been denying that they're having any kind of problems.
Oh.
But then she dropped her husband's name from her Twitter account. So they're like, what does that mean? But then now she won't answer any questions about it. So she dropped her name from her husband's name from her Twitter account, and then also from her Instagram account. So now it's Khloe Kardashian. And then she just changed it to Khloe. So she went from Khloe Odom to Khloe Kardashian, and now she's just going as Khloe, but refuses to answer any questions about her relationship. Well, then don't switch things on social media.
Yeah.
So then you have that flip side of that, too.
Yeah.
Where if you're going to post that, if you're going to do that, and you're in a public relationship, you better be expecting some questions.
Yeah.
And then don't get all upset when people ask you about it.
Right. Yep. That's the thing with social media, man. It's like most times people on Facebook want that attention, you know, but I suppose as a public figure, it's kind of hard because sometimes you might want that privacy, but at the same time, you kind of have to come to expect that there's going to be questions. There's going to be, you know, people wanting to know what's going on in your life.
Yeah. So there you go. Just like it drives me crazy when you hear, and I think the Kardashians they're just nothing but publicity whores. They really are. Because they know that once that goes away, they're going to go away. They have no discernible talent.
So why?
They can't sing. They don't dance. They don't act. So if they don't have that attention, they're nothing. They're absolutely nothing.
The first time I ever heard of the Kardashian name was because of Kim's ass.
The sex tape.
I didn't hear of the sex tape. I just saw a picture of her big old booty.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And I was like, who are these girls? How did they become famous?
Yeah. Just overnight.
Because is it her mother? Or it's just, I mean, I know her parents are kind of like.
Well, her dad represented O.J. Simpson. He was his lawyer in the big murder trial.
Okay.
And he died. So then Kris Jenner married Chris Kardashian, then married Bruce Jenner.
Right.
And became Kris Jenner. And then now Bruce Jenner being a famous person, lucky for them, because if she'd married nobody, I don't think anybody would care.
Right.
But since she married Bruce Jenner, it's sort of interesting because his family's semi-interesting and their family's. So they're like, well, let's just give him a reality show. But you take that away, you got nothing. So they know that. So they always have to stay in the news. So I think they purposely plant this stuff and do this stuff so that they stay in the news.
I don't mind hearing about Brody Jenner. Just saying. He's so cute. When he was on the hills. Just saying. Just throwing it out there for all the girls who know who Brody Jenner is.
But then I think it's the same thing then too with like the stars that always whine about the paparazzi. Then don't go to places where they're going to be at.
Oh, it's like, I don't want you to see me, but I'm going to accidentally flash you my boob.
Yeah.
You know, or
I'm going to pretend like I'm not going to see you. I'm going to put on a hat, a little bit of makeup and a hat. And I'm going to go act like, why is the paparazzi here while I'm getting coffee? Go to Joe's coffee shop on the corner of nowhere and nowhere. No one's going to care. Yeah. Don't go into the popular parts of Hollywood then where you know the paparazzi's at. And then whine about how you don't want to be around the paparazzi.
I know. That is just great.
Because there's a ton of celebrities who don't do it. Mm-hmm. You know, you very rarely see anything about Fergie.
Right. That is so true.
She's super popular. Mm-hmm. She you don't see, oh no, don't take pictures of me getting a coffee. It's such an invasion of privacy. She probably goes and gets coffee every morning, but she goes to like Walgreens. Do you know what I mean? And grabs a cappuccino and then keeps walking. No hullabaloo, no nothing.
I heard her and Josh
Duhamel. You don't see him.
Really nice couple, I heard.
Yeah. Well, because they know how to keep it low.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Keep it on the down.
Keep it on the DL.
Yeah, you see stars all the time. It's like that are really, really famous. You very rarely see anything about like Julia Roberts or
you don't. But it's not that they're not out there living their lives. It's just that they're not out there in the public media.
Yeah, they're smart
constantly. Mm-hmm. Right on.
So anyway, so there you go. So that is living relationships in this new social media
Good talk.
age. Good talks.
I'm sweating a little. Brody. Let's do a whole show on Brody.
No, let's not.
Just kidding.
God, it'd be a quick show.
I don't know why him and Elsie just never stayed together. I mean, really.
Oh gosh. Well, thanks for coming in today, Nick.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And if there's a song you guys want to hear out there, email me, Stacy at urlradio.net. That's STACY at urlradio.net. One Hit Wonders coming up at 1, Woman Power Hour at 2, Rock Ranger at 4, and your requests all day. Email me, Stacy at urlradio.net, and we'll make sure we get them on our list. Everybody have a lovely day.